Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. You know, recently my girlfriend poked me in the eye, so I stopped seeing her. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Living Well is the Best Revenge from Cryptozoic. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. Living Well is the Best Revenge from Cryptozoic is a game of revenge fantasy for 2 to 4 players that contains cards, dice, and spite. Each player is going to receive a deck of 10 identical cards. They will also receive a scoreboard and a number of dice. Now, players are going to arrange these cards in order from 1 to 10, and they all depict images of children being picked on by their peers, and it's very sad and all too familiar. Players are going to go ahead, then, as I say, put those cards out there. They're also going to take 2 player dice in their color and 1 black power dice that also has highlights in their color. Now, once you've selected the first player, that player will roll their player die and their power die together. Each other player that round will just roll their power die. Now, players whose turn it is not, who roll their power die, they'll score a point if the die roll they rolled matches any of the active players' die rolls, and it also matches a kind of an unlocked player ability on their card tableau. More on that in a moment. Now, the player then can use any of their unlocked player cards. Any of their cards that they have managed to unlock, they can go ahead and use any or all of them. Now, on cards 1 through 6, however, they only are triggered if you roll that number on the dice. So you roll your power die, and if you've got an unlocked 1 through 6, you can use that particular card at that time. Now, cards 7 through 9 are going to allow you essentially to manipulate, to kind of do other things, maybe move, kind of add a 1 or subtract a 1 to your die roll or other funky things that kind of modify how you can play those other cards. Now, if you have unlocked number 10 actually gives you access to a yellow power die, which acts as a second power die throughout the game. Now, at this point, you can unlock a new card. What you do is you take your power die, just your power die, and you add them together. You can then unlock any cards that add up to that number in any combination. So if together it rolled an 8, you could unlock a 3 and a 5, or a 2 and a 6, or a 1 and a 7. You can go ahead and do that in any configuration you want, as long as it makes sense, but you have to do that. Now, if you can't do that, if you cannot unlock any of those cards in those configurations, then you are out of the round. Now, after you've unlocked your cards, your turn is over, and play proceeds to the next player. Now, after 3 rounds, you're going to go ahead, you're going to look where everybody is on their scoreboard, and whoever has the most points wins. Living Well is the best revenge. So there's a little bit more going on here and there in this game, but not a lot. It's a pretty simple, straightforward game of kind of dice rolling and card play. And essentially what it is you're unlocking cards every round, and you keep doing that until you can't unlock any more cards, then you're out of the round. And again, you're just trying to gain as many points as you can. You also get some bonuses if you're the last man standing. So there's some other funky things going on there in this game. But that's essentially it. It is a pretty simple, straightforward game. Now, I got to tell you, the cards on this game are hilarious. On one side, as I say, it's these children being picked on by their peers, and on the other side, it's their revenge fantasy of how they would rectify this injustice. And as I say, it's hilarious. It's very funny cards, and the artwork is great. It's that kind of choose your own adventure 1980s artwork that we all know and love so well. The game itself, as you can surmise, is incredibly light. It's an incredibly light game. And that's fine for what it is. It's just this brief dice and card game, doesn't take too much time, and it's there's some meanness here, there's some take that. Some of the cards you do can screw over other players. And so it's a mean game, and as you know, I like mean games. And again, it's not that long. There's not it doesn't take 2 or 3 hours to play. So its strength is it's a pretty quick moving game that engages players every round, because on other people's turns you still have a chance to score points. So you're always looking. It's got kind of that Machikaro space base thing there on a much smaller scale, but you can potentially score on other people's turns, which is always a lot of fun. For what this game is, I was thoroughly delighted by it. I love the artwork, and the gameplay is fun, light, quick, fast, as I say. So, recommendation for the discriminating gamer: for living well is the best revenge is, buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check it out, please subscribe, and please give a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot as well. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little upset because the other day I found my wife getting frisky with her personal trainer. I said, this isn't working out.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I've been dying. Once a year I wind up in the bed.
I did! That's you.
Yeah, I figured.